been driving a couple of days back through the back roads of Kansas, and every now and then she could see a little tombstone or two stuck out in the middle of some farmer's field far out in the distance. She saw old houses rotting and falling apart. The sun was starting to set a little bit, so the corn would kind of strobe as she drove past it. It sort of hypnotized her. From driving a long way, she stunk bad, had to crack the window a little bit to air herself out a bit. She'd been driving, turned a number of corners, and driving miles and miles in the middle of nowhere in back roads. And finally things started looking a little familiar to her after 20 years, coming home after 20 years. And finally she made the right turn on the right road and was heading down, saw a little scabby line of trees. She could see off in the distance the house. The house. It's been so long. Jesus saved signs off the side of the road, no hunting and stuff like that. She recognized it. She pulled up to the old barbed wire fence with her old green station wagon, uncurled it and rolled it up over to the side, threw it off the way, and drove up by the scattered line of trees up towards the old house, up around the bend. Not much of a hill, a little bit of an incline. And she saw this old dirt road that she's driving on. She worked her way up, bumping towards the house. Finally, she arrived in front of the house. She stopped the old car. She sees it. The old house's paint's chipping and falling off. Shingles been blown off her land for the last 10, 20 years or so. She's glad to see it in a way, because at least she had some place to rest now, and she pulled out a lot of her junk there, her bedrolls. She pulled out a lot of her stuff like the old sign that said for sale by owner, things like this, and a couple of cleaning things, piled them up, made a little fortress in front of her, and held a crowbar and stared at the house. Set the crowbar down for a second, but she decided to walk up to it. Went up to the front door there where they have that little safe box contraption, you know, that some realtor put there about 10 or 20 years ago. Twirls the lock, looks at the combination out of the pocket, pops it open, pulls out a little skeleton key in through the front door, bangs on the inside, the plaster falls. She's inside. Bone-like wood floors here all covered with dust. Smell a little mildew in there. Not too bad though. With all the windows busted out, I guess the air had kind of come through and cleaned it well enough out. It didn't stink too bad. Leaves are skittering, chasing each other on the floor like little skeletons. She goes into the living room area. Oh, and there's just one little ottoman over here, and that's about it, covered with old tarps and things. Back here in this corner, she can see a little chandelier, and the chain all rolled up in a ball. No, and she keeps walking in there, and she hears the echo of the floorboards pop and squeak as she goes deeper into the house. She walks a little ways inside there, and off here to her left, up this way, leading up into the master bedroom, and about 3 bedrooms up there, is a stairway. She walks a little bit further in. There's older spots there on the wall where paintings used to hang, kind of some places where the wallpaper wasn't quite as faded. She walks through the living room, and she goes down this long tunnel, kind of like hallway that leads back towards the back of the house. And as she progresses, as she sees it's beautiful, the glowing blue kitchen. She missed it. And it just glows. It's just a beautiful white blue color. And the sun's starting to set, so it's got a nice little shine about it as she walks back into the kitchen. And she sort of, I don't know if it consciously, whatever, she ignores the basement door there and looks over and sees the old little white refrigerator there that she used to remember from so long ago, the kind you touch it and it leaves that chalky white stuff on your hand, you know. And she goes to the back door, slides the little slide bolt, pushes through, just enough room for her to squeeze through it, slide her breast through. She gets out there on the back porch. She sees the old stubbly fields way off to the side here. She could see the old windmill. She could see the water basin there and the perambulated tin banging just kind of rhythmically over there. And the old windmill just rocks back and forth a little bit. Little slight wind. Crickets are starting to chirp a little as she moves towards the night. And she walks across the stubbly fields and feels the old corn stalks just about a couple inches high poking up on the bottom of her feet. She works her way back towards the woods. She steps into the woods, and the trees are all twiggy and they kind of scrape her legs. There's hardly any trees out there in Kansas, you see. There's a few that are a little larger than others, but most of all, it's just a bramble scraping on her legs there. And she walks into the woods. It's kind of a musty smell, steam rising a little bit there in the autumn, no leaves to speak of. Can't hear any birds, nothing much there that she hears. She keeps her walking back through there. The ground gets real mushy in places. Makes her nervous. She almost feels like she might sink into it or something. And over on some sides down where the ravines are and the water's corroded away, a lot of stuff, you can see old auto bodies there, rusted, holding up the embankment so that the, keep the erosion down, I guess. She works her way deeper through the woods, and she sees a little bit of water dripping on her. Occasionally fills that, and she works her way up. She sees this kind of steep embankment white thing, kind of has to almost climb up it. Closest thing to a mountain in Kansas. She'd offer her encountered this girl. And she works her way up the little hill, and she has to grab onto a little tree or two to haul herself up there. And she sees the fence. It's still there. After all these years, it's still there. She works her way up there and grabs hold of the rusty fence. She sees a little sign here. It's kind of a yellow rusted sign that says "Keep Out." It's hanging by one rivet there, and it just kind of, when the wind blows, the fence shivers like. It's garnished with a little bit of barbed wire at the top. It's hanging and sagging in places. Back behind this fence, there's a courtyard there where the grass has been walked to mush. Still being used, I guess. And behind the little courtyard there's a building. Melder's Institute of Mental Health. And she sees old dark windows there and bars on them. And she sees up there in one of the dark windows, maybe a few shadows moving, and hears a little bit of a name battle. And she walks away up there, and she really grabs a hold of that fence with both hands. When she does that, the crusty rust breaks in her hands. Takes her into a flashback 20 years earlier. Joan's a little girl now. Now the courtyard's full of people, these odd characters, some of which might be worth remembering. There's a few of them wandering around there in the courtyard. One of them's underneath a drain pipe and water's just draining on his head. And he lets it splatter there for a while. Another one there is over there kind of banging on the wall. He's silent. Let me back in. There's another one over here. He's got his face right by the window for some reason. And he's got his face right up to it. And he's searching his face for these pustules. And he pops one, it's kind of a boil there, and he searches the pustule a little bit with his finger. I don't know what he's thinking.